Welcome to another edition of 300 Voices in 300 Days, brought to you by TAN TV. I'm your host, Vance Bradford, and our special guest, Miss Mona Echard. Welcome, Mona.
Thank you, Vance.
Glad to have you.
It's a pleasure to be here.
Yeah, well, you're looking nice and lovely.
Thank you
Yes,
so
ma'am.
much. You're looking nice as well.
Well, thank you. Well, let's jump right into it. How about
Let's do it.
Okay. So tell us, where were you born?
I was born in McKinney, Texas.
Okay.
Just, I think it's south of Dallas.
Okay.
And not geography-wise, I'm not sure. But it's a little small town, McKinney, Texas. I was raised in Missouri. So I was not actually raised in Texas. I spent most of my formative years in Kansas City, Missouri.
Kansas City.
And then
okay.
I came to San Antonio in the mid-'80s. I was just about to graduate high school.
Well, I did the same thing. I left Missouri.
Did you?
Yeah, but not Kansas City. More the smaller town of St. Roberts, Missouri.
Well, I lived in Excelsior Springs, Missouri when I was
Is
there.
that right?
Excelsior, that's a small, tiny.
Yes.
I lived in Raytown, small world.
Small world,
You
huh?
were raised there.
Well, yeah. I claimed that. My dad's military, so, that was the last place I
Awesome.
went to high school there and everything.
Okay.
Yeah, so,
Okay.
leaving Missouri to get to these nice summers here in San Antonio, for sure.
For sure. I hated every winter in Kansas City. Not that I hated Kansas City per se, but I don't like cold weather. I don't like snow.
Come on.
So, I'm a fair weather girl.
Yes.
So I'm glad to be in Texas.
Okay. Well, tell us now, where did you attend college?
I went to the University of Texas in San Antonio.
Okay.
My undergraduate degree is in communication and public speaking.
Okay.
So I spent time there. I also went to St. Philip's College prior to that. So I spent a couple of years there and moved on to UTSA.
Okay. So what brought you to San Antonio?
My mother. I was in high school at the time. So when she relocated, I, of course, came with her.
Mm-hmm.
And then went to school, went to high school. After high school, I got married.
Mm-hmm.
So I married my high school sweetheart.
Wow.
And he went into the military, and we traveled around and had 2 children.
Okay.
And then we came back because he was raised here in San Antonio. So we came back to San Antonio after that.
Wow. Okay. Nice. Okay. So tell us, Mona, what do you do now?
I am a consultant and corporate strategies trainer. I spent the better part of 20 years in the salon and spa industry. So I started out as a stylist and then an owner, and I found myself in training. I've always wanted to be in training. I got involved with Sisters in Business, and I just fell in love with the business aspects of things. So I worked in that industry on the business side, training and operations and technical training and so on and so forth. And then started my own business, and this is what I do now. I love it. I love to take failing teams and turn them into dream teams.
Wow.
That's my specialty. And I think a lot of that has to do with collaboration, communication, connection, empathy, so many things. So that's what I do now, travel and train.
Travel and train.
Travel and train.
Boy, we're doing
Travel
it.
when I want to and train when I want to. But it's a wonderful career.
Great. Now, what made you choose that path?
I think, I don't know if you've ever taken a personality test. Have you ever taken a personality test?
Well, I can't say that I have.
Yeah. Well, it's sort of like a right brain, left brain, but my scores are always right down the middle, almost perfectly down the middle, logical and creative. But I think my logical side comes out in business, and I really like to be creative in finding solutions in business. So it's exciting to do that, and it's I take a different twist to things in the business world. So I just fell in love with that part of business, even more so than owning a business. I just like the training part of it. So I got a certification in corporate strategies training last year, and actually in 2015, and then quit my day job and started traveling and consulting and training, and that's what I do now.
Okay. So, what do you think is your greatest contribution to San Antonio?
I think my greatest contribution is when I was a business owner, salon owner. I started a nonprofit organization, salon organization for homeless women. I have a huge affinity for homeless people. and homeless women. I really don't know where it stemmed from. It might have come from the fact that my mother traveled with us as kids and she had a new beginning and we had to live with relatives for a while. I don't know where it came from, but I started a nonprofit in 2013 to help women who are transitioning with children and getting out of abusive relationships, et cetera. And so we created this kind of a salon atmosphere for them to make them look good, feel good, and all of that. And then we invited other businesses in to show them how to manage their money and how to start a business. So we looked at all sides of it. So I think that is my greatest contribution. I'd love to really go back and do that again, but at that time in my life, it was a huge thing for me to give back to the
that's
community
wonderful.
in that way.
Yes. Great. Do you feel that there's a need to give back to the community?
Always. I think your work should be your ministry. And ministry simply means to assist and to aid. You don't necessarily have to proselytize to be spiritual and be in ministry. And so I think everything that you do has to reverse back to that, to giving back, because you're gifted, you're talented, you're given a lot of things, and not everybody has those things. So for me, it's just a way of saying, this is my small contribution to, my footprint to those who maybe need a little something that I might could give them. So I think it's important. I think it's very important. It's important to raise our children that way. Now that I have grandchildren, I want to raise them that way. Always give back, because you have more than somebody else does. So always pay it forward.
Wow, that's beautiful. I'm going to change it from being so technical right now and just ask you a little simple question, what kind of hobbies you have? What does Mona do when she's not doing her professional work there?
Well, I play with my grandkids, for one. They're all little and I love them. So, I think it's a different kind of love when you have grandchildren. Okay. But I also love to ballroom dance, urban ballroom dance. Okay. I think it keeps you young. It keeps you relevant. It just keeps me happy. So when I have time, that's what I do. So I dance with a social group in San Antonio. Okay. And we get together and we dance the night away. So
it's ballroom dancing? Is that?
It's urban. Yeah, it's urban ballroom dancing. It's similar to the ballroom dances you see, the foxtrot, all of those things that maybe you see on Dancing with the Stars. Right. But it has more of an urban appeal. So it's done to usually R&B music with an 8 count, although it can be done to other music as well. But typically R&B music that has that 8 count that you keep track of. Okay. And it's a couples dance. The man leads the woman into those dances. And I like that because I feel like many times we as women, if we're strong women, we don't want to be led. Okay. We want people to follow us. And I think this dance reminds me that sometimes it's good to be led. Okay. And really pay attention to that. So that's why I dance. I love it. It's just a good pastime.
You say you meet?
We meet monthly. Well, we meet weekly for practices. We have two instructors in San Antonio that teach the dance. And then monthly we get together as a social group. And then we travel. That dance, Chicago style stepping is what it's called. Okay. It's all over the United States. So we can travel if you are a traveler. I don't have time a lot to travel to dance these days, but it's just a great pastime. It really is. And we always know that when we do something, it's more than just about the dance, right? It goes deeper. Even if you're maybe you like to hunt or maybe you like to bowl, it's always more than just what you do. It always adds something to your life. So I think that's where that comes from. Just kind of adding to my life.
Well, that's a wonderful hobby there. Yes. Okay. What do you think we're getting back down to the interview there. Okay. That was great.
Thank you.
Transition to. What do you think you're most known for here in San Antonio?
That's a really hard question to answer. I think what I like to be most known for is that anytime you meet me, I'm going to be the same person. No matter what setting, I feel like, being friendly and being warm is important. So I think maybe if you would ask people what kind of person she is, she's a friendly person, she's a warm person, she's always the same. I try never to change unless it's for the better.
Okay.
So I think that's what I think people would say about me. Anyways, other than that, I know, the philanthropic things that I've done in San Antonio. I think the people that I was connected to know how passionate I was about that work and just how passionate in general I am about people. So I think, you have to ask somebody that knows me. But I think that's what I would like for them to say, for sure.
Well, that's great. That's great. So let me ask you this. What do you like most about San Antonio?
I would say the diversity. I would, because I grew up in a diverse atmosphere. And so I didn't have the opportunity to go to an all-black school or, the schools that I went to, I was probably the only African-American in the classroom. So early on in life, I learned how to mirror people in order to fit in a positive way. So I really like that about San Antonio. I like the diversity and people come in from all walks of life. I do like that there's a strong African-American community in San Antonio, but I like that there's a collaborative effort with other communities as well. So I think that's what I like most about it, the diversity in it.
Okay. Now, do you feel it's important that we as African Americans tell our story?
For sure. Yes, most definitely. I think it's even more important that we fill in our youth about our story, because many times that gets watered down because young people today, they're more accepting of anybody and everybody, and that's good. That's a good thing. But I think sometimes they lose the root of their history, and we need to make sure that we bring that back and let them understand where we actually came from and who we came from. And I don't mind being called African American, Black, whatever, just, whatever it is. But African American to me helps me understand that I do have roots from way back. And those folks built this country. And without them, we wouldn't really be here. And so I think it's important. And I do also think that it's important that the stories can be different. My experience may be different from your experience or the next person's experience, but it's still an experience and it should be accepted. It should be expanded upon. It should be talked about. It should be related to. So yes, at every chance we get, we should tell our stories. For sure.
Great. Mona, this has been a great interview, full of information.
Well,
I know a little bit about you. You're a dancer.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I tell you, in conclusion, and tell us something you want to maybe give out some words of wisdom to maybe some young ladies that are trying to get into the business, to the business world, or just coming up. Period. Just trying to be successful in America.
Yeah.
Is there anything you may have to say to them or would like to?
I think the first thing I would say is work on yourself first. I think that's most important. I think we're raised to, we need to get married, we need to do this, we need to do that. But we don't tell our girls to work on yourselves. Look at your attitude. Look at the way you look at things and how you absorb things and how you react to things. Work on yourself, focus, set goals, and don't let yourself down by not meeting or exceeding those goals. But I think first and foremost, we have to get ourselves right in order to really be focused on anything else. So in business in particular, I would love for every young woman to start their own business and do things, do what they would like to do with their lives as far as that's concerned. But I really would like them to start with the inner woman first and make sure she's good. And then she can progress and do all things.
Well said.
Thank you.
Things.
All things through Christ who strengthens them. But that me first is very important to me.
That's very good. Well.
Is it over?
Well, I say this has been a great interview. Very informative.
It's been my pleasure.
Yes,
it really
Mona.
has been my pleasure.
Yes. Well, there you have it. Another great episode of 300 Voices in 300 Days on TAN TV. I'm your host, Vance Bradford, with our special guest, Mona Echard. Have a great day.